Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. Joined by David Johnson from David Johnson's Guide Service. Yesterday, you were chasing springers in the Oregon City area, eggs, a lot like what Grant Shealy had just mentioned, along with countless boats. I mean, it's literally an aluminum hatch up there right now with no other options other than the rest of the Willamette. So let's just say we're talking a couple of days down the road. We get into that 57, 59 degree range or whatever. What would be your next move? Are you going to stay with trying to fish eggs and just kind of force feed it, literally, or are you going to move and do something different?
Depends on reports a little bit, but I don't suggest really chasing reports too much because usually you get a report and it's 3 days old and it's
worthless, even a day old. Seems like.
Sometimes even a day old, yeah. But I mean, you do get fish are a little more bitey when they're new in the river. So if you're down lower, you have a good chance of catching fish versus middle river, say, maybe because they've come through. But I mean, I will stick to what I know and what I've done for 40 years and force feed them bait, and then I'll tweak my bait and keep experimenting, you know. And it's a big game of experimenting.
Okay. Please pay attention to what he just said. I ain't giving up. I'm fishing eggs if it gets warm or not. I don't care. I'm going to make him eat them. But you're successfper that way. We even got a photo. Let's show his 40-year-old photo of David catching his first springer out on the Willamette system.
That was on a prawn. That was in the prawn years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prawns are still pretty darn good. There was a lot of fish caught on prawns this week.
I mean, I remember that day like it was my first one. You know, I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, I can tell you the whole about that. Probably 14 or 15.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we were sitting on anchor in the sandbar in the hog line.
Yeah.
Absolutely pouring down rain with the top on the boat and everything. And there were guys back bouncing on the inside. And there used to be more current on the inside of the sandbar and stuff like that. It's filled in. But there were boats back bouncing, hooking some fish. I said, Dad, let's go over there and back bounce. And we'd never caught fish back bouncing before. We've done it, had done it before, but never success. So we pulled up the anchor and did our prawns and got out there and back bounced, and I caught that 16-pound springer. And then my dad hooked that steelhead, and when he set the hook, his rod exploded into like 3 pieces, and we ended up hand lining that summer steelhead in.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Back when there was summer steelhead, back when we were catching springers.
Yeah, it used to be. There was always, especially on the Clackamas, but even in the Willamette, especially on the Clackamas, if we were springer fishing, we'd be getting 3 to 5 springers. You'd always get 1 or 2 bonus summer steelhead.
Yeah, no
and then
question.
on the Willamette, maybe every few days you'd get a summer steelhead.
Yeah, good times. That leads me to my next question. If you're sticking out, back trolling, fishing bait, eggs, shrimp, straight shrimp, whatever, sand shrimp, are you going to be using prawns at all? Are you going to be using coon shrimp at all? Will you change it that way?
I'll mix it up, and you know, my advantage with 4 or 5 rods is I can try. Sure. You know, like I said, I'll always be tweaking and always being experimenting. So we will try some of that, and you know, and also for people, lures. You know, I mean, the water gets warmer. Lures are your way to go too.
Fishing spinners, you can stuffer baits behind 360s or inlines. I mean, there's certainly some options there.
You know, back in the day when it was all hogline fishing, everybody fished prawns and prawn spinners when they were sitting on anchor, and then when the water got warm, they switched over to spinners and wobblers.
Yep. And God, good old days. God, I miss it. I mentioned that earlier. I love the old days of being in the garbage. And for me, the old days of really hoglining in the garbage hole and stuff like that, you know, late 80s, early 90s, and then things started to change within a decade of that time frame to more back trolling.
I mean, it's more effective, and that's why.
It can be. Yeah. I know that.
Unless you're in the spot.
Yeah.
You know, which, I
mean, there were definitely times, though, where hog lines would outfish the back trollers by a landslide. But things have changed. The bottoms are different. Things have filled in. A lot of those places.
Definitely filled in,
Yeah, a lot of those places that we used to hog line, you really just couldn't do it anymore.
And unfortunately, well, a lot of times those hog lines, like, you'd have 15, 20 boats, but those middle 4 or 5 boats were on the spot. Yeah. And if you're on the outside of those, you were either spectating or you might pick up a straggler.
God, they were crazy days though. Anchoring like literally all the way across the river. Just nuts. But those are old days, and these days that everybody's on the move. Okay, so you're fishing this week. Got clients that you're running?
Yep. For the next 3 weeks, I'll be up here fishing, and then I'll switch over to fishing Tillamook springers.
Okay, so that was my next question. So what was ultimately going to be his next move? I always have to ask, and you always have the same answer. Any options for folks to get out with you? You're pretty much done. I
have a couple spots on Cinco de Mayo up here.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Monday. I'm pretty sure it was a Monday.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a couple spots on that day, and that's it for the Willamette. I've got some spots in early June down in Tillamook for springers.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple catch and release spots for sturgeon. Days.
Yeah.
A couple days for sturgeon and a couple days for Tillamook springers.
Okay, gotcha.
Throughout, June and
so you do have some time.
Yeah, July.
Wow,
and
slow
then,
year
and
for
then
you. You've been traveling too much.
I have. Yeah, I've been to 3 countries and 3 states over 32 days, and that was a lot of my winter steelhead season.
You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much.
Yeah.
Do I have time? I got to ask that question. How was your winter steelhead season?
It was work. I mean, I literally fished in other places almost as much as I fished
your home water
in Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
But we worked and got 2 or 3 fish a day, and sometimes a couple days only 1. No banner days while I fished it.
Yeah, it was certainly. Yeah. It was a difficult year.
But I got some nice tuna and GTs and redfish and yellowtails and.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it. See what you do, Oregon and Washington? You start running out people because we don't have fish to go target.
Yeah.
How many millions and hundreds of millions, I should say, are you foregoing? But I'm not going to get sidetracked. Anyway, it's great to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for
coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. We love your info. It helps out a lot of people more than you might know. We get the information all the time.
Cool.
Just don't follow them. And don't let them get below you when you're back trolling.
Whatever.
Yeah, what do you mean, whatever? All of a sudden, never mind. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up, give you an idea what we got going on for tomorrow. And we got the deal of the week. And we need to make sure you're well aware of unadvertised deals. You can find them, though.
I got to get one of those.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.